when you go 10 minutes on Coffee Talk and don't even realize you are not talking to anybody. I've been talking to myself for 10 minutes. Wow, I think that's a new record. I've done it before. It has never gone for 10 minutes. Oh boy. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? I'm going to do the last 10 minutes off. I am low-key embarrassed. I'm genuinely embarrassed. Oh my goodness. Good morning to you. I'm Wesh 2 first warning meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week if I hit the buttons correctly and we talk about what's going on in the world of weather. Oh wow. Okay. All right. A live look at our Tower Cam network showing gloomy conditions in some spots, sunny conditions in others. We are absolutely starting to transition into that fall weather pattern where those low clouds hang out and do their thing. How funny is that? It's going to take me a minute to get over that. All right. So funny. All right. So we have had little pockets of fog around. Visibilities are not all that bad right now, but there are low clouds. Okay, let's look at the cloud ceilings and notice Sanford sitting at 500 feet, Melbourne at 200 feet. So, ceiling, cloud ceiling. Where's the thick layer? And that's broken or overcast conditions. So, scattered is not going to count here, but 200 feet over your head in Melbourne, that's pretty low, right? 2,000 feet in Ocala, that's getting up there, and Winter Haven and Kissimmee. So, all of these areas, low ish clouds. Right? That makes sense. All right. So we've got that kind of set up there. And we've seen that on our tower cams around town this morning. Let's pop up another one of our live tower cams. Right there's up in Marion County. You can see there's a cloud deck there. Right. Over to our first warning live Doppler radar. We are relatively quiet this morning. 10 minutes. I talked to myself for 10 minutes. That's crazy. All right. Just a couple of areas of sprinkles, right? Through Seminole County, for example, working toward Oviedo, a couple of little showers there. And then up here into Volusia County around Ponce Inlet, Port Orange, a couple of showers there. Temperatures out the door, mid 70s for the metro. Hey, we're in the lower 70s in Ocala. Where did we get for a low this morning? You know what's funny is even though I did most of this for 10 minutes by myself, it still took me in a different direction. Like I didn't look at the lows this morning in Ocala. Did we get into the 60s? Survey says no. Okay, got it. Oh well. All right. We will though at some point here shortly because this weather pattern is going to help favor that. Now, first off, we've got this storm system in the Gulf, this front over top of us, and because of that, persistence we're going to keep with the clouds and the moisture. So for today, we're working our way up to an 80% coverage of rain in some spots. All, it's about a 60% coverage of rain, right? 5 p.m., 60%. Tom says a challenge for VFR flights. That's why I'm working on my instrument rating. Last instrument flight was all in the soup, basically, and at night. So good times. You want to talk about humbling? I digress. 89, our high temperature today. All in about 60% of us getting rained on. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at. Thanks for changing the invest. I got you, Tim. So that's kind of where we're at. Let's look at our futurecast model and get an idea of where the rains are, right? So here we are this morning, a couple of little showers, 10, 11, 12, popcorning up a little bit of light rain. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, showers around. 4, 5, widespread rains. 6, 7. Notice they're not moving a ton, right? 7, 8, 9, 10 showers around, right? So to that point, while yes, it's not looking like severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning, we're still in that ballpark where we've got so much moisture over top of us that flooding is a concern. So for today, watching that threat for flooding around Central Florida, and even for tomorrow, Metro South will be watching that threat for flooding. Okay. We saw a lot of rainfall yesterday. Let me pop up the live radar and switch it from live mode over to rainfall mode. And let's look at our rainfall totals over the last 24 hours time. All right, we had a flash flood warning for part of the time down here in parts of Orange County, out near the Orlando International Airport and Rio Pinar, for example. Look at some of these Doppler radar estimates: 3 to 4, 4.5 inches of rain in some spots there, right? Up Lee Vista over towards Cypress Springs Elementary, Legacy Middle School, Azalea Park, Barry Deese Road, along the 417 there, right? Look at some of these rainfall totals: 4 to 4.5 inches of rain along that corridor there. Okay, that's just in that spot. Over here toward Gotha, had another area of 2+ inches of rainfall out near Orla Vista, and we know Orla Vista loves to flood. And then there's this corridor here, Wekiva Springs, Apopka, for example. Look at some of these rainfall numbers: 3, 4, nearly 4 inches, right? So you get the idea. We had widespread rains. Lake Mary, Sanford, Heathrow, 3.7, 2.7, 3.5, 4.4, right? So you get the idea. So flooding is absolutely still a thing. Monitoring the St. Johns River, this is the St. Johns River near Astor, 2.82 is its current level. The forecast does try to bring it down. The question is, have we crested yet or not? The Econ River was also sitting around minor flood stage, so that's kind of where we're at. We're very, very soggy. Now, next couple of days, watch how this storm system finally starts to maneuver itself, right? And by Friday, the low that's been bringing us all this moisture finally starts to scoot. It scoots, boots, and boogies. I know, boots, scoots, and boogies. But as it does that, it drags in some drier air. So first to the muggy meter. This time of year, we start to really use the muggy meter. And look at that. It goes comfy. I can't tell you last time in the metro it went comfy. Okay? Now, that said, these are dew points. These are not actual temperatures. But they're pretty close. So we've been humid all summer, right? Those dew points drop Saturday, Sunday. So let's take a look at Central Florida's certified most accurate forecast and notice that, yeah, those temperatures Saturday, Sunday, Monday do come down a little bit, and our forecast dries out. It's not going to be life altering, right? You're not going to be pulling out the fleece. But there's something there. There is something there, my friends, right? Now, it's still kind of mid September, right? We're still 12 days away from the first day of fall. Our average high temperature today is 90. That average drops to 89 for that first day of fall. But we're getting there. Emotional victories. I'm here for emotional victories. Right? So let's take it. Now, that said, back to the 7-day forecast because we're noticing those changes. So let's start off with Saturday afternoon, 87 in the city, right? Let's look at our weekend forecast. Everybody's working for the weekend, okay? Saturday afternoon, that looks nice. 87 in Orlando. If you're heading to the theme parks, y'all go, right? 87 in Orlando, 88 degrees in the Villages, 86 in St. Cloud, 85 degrees in Titusville. All right. Sunday morning. All right, look at these temperatures. Upper 60s in the metro, upper 60s Ocala, the Villages, lower 70s in Claremont, right? So again, what do people call it? Fake fall? Is that like the big joke? You're here, that meme, you're here. Fake fall number one. We've got 3 other fake falls before real fall. Either way, look, this weekend planner, for what it's worth, really looks great. We've got a lot of gorgeous weather ahead. So just know that. Just know that we've got some great weather ahead. And I can't wait to spend that time with y'all. I'll be back on Sunrise Saturday morning. So noon and 4 today. Schedules. Noon and 4 today. That's Wednesday. Noon and 4 tomorrow. That's Thursday. Sunrise Is it just sunrise? Stand by. Stand by. Friday. Okay, just sunrise Friday, sunrise Saturday, and then I don't even know next. We've got some Fakakta schedules here the next couple of weeks, but I digress. So anyway, we've got a really nice forecast coming up, okay? Yeah, if you've got plans to head out to the theme parks today, Epic Universe is looking gorgeous until the thunderstorms get going. So look forward to the drier air, but know that that's not here yet. We still have the soaking rains in our forecast for today. We still have the soaking rains in the forecast for today. But we trend better and better looking ahead to the weekend. All right, let me pop up the 7-day forecast and we can chat about the local stuff before we go on to the tropical stuff, right? At 8:22 in the morning because I spent 10 minutes talking to myself. Oh my gosh. So I was feeding it to the Tracking the Tropics feed, but it wasn't activated because I shouldn't have been feeding it to the Tracking the Tropics feed. That's my bad. Chris says, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I'll take every fake fall. Yet, no, I agree with you, Chris. I really do. It's just, yeah. Yep. I know. I know. Always hope for the future, or future cast is right. That's funny, Diane. That's so funny. Matt, since you talked to yourself, can we BSR today to sniff out the cold fronts? Yeah, I suppose we can. Is that my punishment? Yeah. Mickey, today's the statistical peak of hurricane season, and yet no area of interest on the map. That's correct. Debbie says, I need more coffee. I need more coffee. Yep, need more coffee. Did yourself talk back to yourself? No. I was just talking, and then I finally popped over to look at the comments, and I'm like, there are no comments, and there is nobody watching, and that's how I knew. What an idiot. Oh boy. All right. Local, we're going to try for a third time for rocket launch tonight. Falcon 9 around 8 o'clock. The launch probability is a little better than it has been the last couple of days. 30% at the beginning of the window, increasing to a 45% chance of good weather toward the end of the window. So still not great, but it's something. It's at least heading in the right direction. So you got to take it. All right. All right. Tropics, my friends. First off, looking at the satellite right now, there are clouds, right? But as mentioned, there is nothing expected, no areas of interest, no development expected over the next 7 days' time. And yes, we are now to the peak of hurricane season. 0 days left today. Love that. As Chris said regarding fake fall, not looking a gift horse in the mouth. That said, though, we all know how this works. Backloaded seasons happen. We've got a lot of hurricane season left to go, right? When we look at for example, the tropical, the week 2 outlook, September 17th through the 23rd, looking at the Gulf, looking at the Caribbean, looking at the main development region of the Atlantic. Let's look beyond that. Gulf, Caribbean, main development region of the Atlantic, looking toward the end of September. So we may be in a quiet stretch now, but it is not going to stay that way. There is so much energy that is still out there left to be utilized. And we know once we turn on the Madden-Julian oscillation, it's go time. So that said, first, let's. I'm going to start today with the Madden-Julian oscillation. Okay, just because, and I think that I have a good reason for this. Okay, let's look and see when it goes in phase first, and then we can say to ourselves, all right, let's look at the model data. So right off the bat, which I'll bring it full screen for you because I'm on the world view. And again, the Madden-Julian oscillation, think of it as a section of the globe where there's added lift and spin. So for example, look, Much of the Pacific is not in phase right now. The Atlantic is not in phase. Where is it in phase? Like the Indian Ocean, for example, right? All right, so let's roll through time here. And where do, around the 17th and the 18th, we start watching around the Atlantic to go in phase, right? So it looks to me like our window really is going to be opening even like the 15th, 16th. 15th, 16th, 17th. That's when we see it, right? When the Indian Ocean is out of phase, when the Pacific is out of phase, and when we start watching the Atlantic basin go in phase, right? This is not, now I would add, this is not, this is an oscillation. This is, just like the long range stuff that we use, the LRC. It's not perfect, okay? But it's a good indicator. Jamie Lopez, it's getting close to a reset of the LRC. You're right. Once we get into October, the entire pattern changes. Yeah. Debbie says we don't like green. Not on this map. No. Green on this map, green means go. And when you talk about the tropics and the Madden-Julian oscillation, you don't want it to go at all. So yeah, we don't like go. Not on this one. Right? Set phasers to brown. Yeah, I see what you did there. Thank you. And then I saw her face. Now I'm a forecaster. I see. Yeah. Christina C's asking, what is phase? So, in other words, when the vorticity, when the lift, when we go in phase, it's a term, meaning we go green. And when we go green, that means the atmosphere is wanting to help develop tropical systems. Okay? Daddy Shark on YouTube responds saying phase refers to being favorable for development. Exactly. So yeah. Yeah. So watching the 16th, 17th, 18th, that's when we look to go in phase. So let's do this. Let's switch over from the MJO to just the regular GFS. All right. And let's just go through time. And I'm going to keep it close just because, fish storms that don't come near us are not as big of a concern. But let's roll through time. All right, and we're rolling. A couple little homegrown things don't look strong. All right, GFS with a little CAG here around what time? The 16th, 17th, 18th, riding up the Yucatan, and then up into Louisiana around September 21st. All right, so there the GFS is already going for it. And then after that, look at that, something out east, way east, out near Bermuda. Again, where does that develop time frame wise? When the MJO goes green. All right, so that's the GFS. Thankfully, no threats to us. Let's switch over, look at the European. Couple little areas along old fronts, but nothing significant. Something out east of us around the 20th. Notice the European is not picking up on anything around the Yucatan for the 16th, 17th, 18th, right there. But it is picking up on something way east out in the central. And then beyond that, another area that kind of fades because by the 24th, it looks like we go out of phase. So, a couple of people have been asking, has there ever been a year without a major hurricane? Let me go and look at the data. Give me a second. I've got my spreadsheet here. Y'all are making me go into Microsoft Excel during coffee talk. That's how much I love y'all. All right, stand by. So from there to 12. All right, major hurricanes. Has there ever been a year without major hurricanes? The answer is yes. The last time we did not have a major hurricane all season long was 2013. We've already had a major hurricane this year. But yeah, 2013 was the last time that we did not have a major hurricane all season long. Look at Matt throwing years out. How, Matt, are you pulling that up out of your tuchus? Where are you? I've got a database. What do you have? I'm impressed. Genuinely impressed. That said, though, yeah, we've already had a major. Remember, Aaron was a category 5, so we've already had that. Janice, we love you too. Mwah. All right. Catherine says, us long timers remember years of no hurricanes or very minimum ones. I mean, it's true, Yeah. ChatGPT Yeshua on YouTube says, I'm of the. Matt is my age though. Matt, if you thought to go to ChatGPT automatically, I got to give you credit because my brain doesn't go there. Also, ChatGPT can be wrong, so I want to make sure to try and be as not wrong as I possibly can. For what it's worth. Now, one contributing factor to all of this has been the persistence of Saharan dust. Look at the Saharan dust forecast. You know, through the next few days, the Saharan dust lingers, right? One thing, though, that we're watching here, currently, we're in ENSO neutral, okay? That said, though, I do think we'll probably this fall into this winter transition to a brief La Nina. But at the moment, we have not gotten there yet. So, anyway, tropics are quiet. That's the bottom line. All right. All right. Back to our local forecast. There's the 7 day. Now, questions, comments, concerns from y'all. All right. Nikki, don't like the AI. Yeah, I know. Lauren, you know you will take any excuse to pull out a spreadsheet. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know. Debbie, am I calling Matt old? I'm just saying we're of the same mental generation. Chris, see, and then Chris Pierce always with the funny jokes. Chris says Matt may be the same age, but does he talk to himself? This is why I love you, Chris, because the way your brain thinks and the intelligence and goofiness of your jokes, I love it. Oh man, Daddy Shark, the Pacific is starting to look like we might transition into an El Nino next year. Are you stating that or asking that? Because when we look at the Pacific temperatures right now, I don't know if I even have that. Hold on. All right. So if we look at the Pacific temperatures right now, honestly, the Pacific is cooling. And so with the Pacific, think about it. The equatorial waters of the Pacific are so cold, it's like New England temperatures at the equator. So this is not looking like an El Nino. This is looking like a La Nina, right? So that is to me the indicator that we're transitioning to a La Nina. One of the reasons why I suspect we will have a backloaded season. Yeah. Cindy, the other day I heard a kid say, let me chat GPT it instead of let me Google it, and I officially felt old. I know, dude, right? Matt says, I actually do talk to myself, just not on a public stream. It's okay, Matt. Even though I was talking to myself on a public stream, nobody was getting the public stream. So does that count? See? See what we do here? Oh man, oh man. Pollen forecast is actually not bad because we've had so much rain. All right, y'all have been asking about the BSR. I owe it to you because I came on late and I'm going late. I'm going late just to try and cover all the bases here because, sorry. All right, give me a second to get this set up. For those of you that are unfamiliar, I like to use all kinds of teleconnections and other goofy techniques, ways to tell the weather story as best as I can. So this is the BSR, standing for the Bering Sea Roll. Essentially, the idea is what we're looking at here is the United States overlaid over the Pacific, the North Pacific, and like Alaska. And the idea here is that it kind of gives us an idea about 2.5 weeks of what our weather's going to look like. And of course, if I extrapolate that out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, we could have some fun with it. Okay, so let's just roll through time here. So, decent storm out east of Florida. Around the 16th, 17th, 18th. Okay, that makes sense. A little area of low pressure out in the Gulf, but not a huge thing. Now, that's an interesting one there. 19th, 20th, 21st of September. So the models aren't really showing it, but the 19th, 20th, 21st, the BSR is indicating something interesting there. So I'm just curious, real fast. Give me a second here. I just want to look and see. 19, 20, 21st. Is that. I don't know that that's in any part of my long range pattern at all. I don't think it is. No. Okay. So interesting. A little low over South Florida. That's like September 23rd, 24th, 25th. Nothing significant, but a little something there. That's a strong cold front right there. 25th, 26th, 27th, end of September. That's a strong cold front. And then some sort of a little storm system out in the Gulf. Okay. All right. Just in analysis mode. Decent little front right there. That's September 30th, October 1st, October 2nd. Decent cold front moving through. That's a decent cold front. Could we start October with a little bit of a decent front? I would not mind that at all. Oh, and another good front. Y'all, that's fall. And what's wild to me is, oh, that's a severe weather event right there. That's like October 12th, 13th, 14th. Severe weather. Severe weather cold front. Somebody write that down. I'm just curious to see how that verifies. But at the moment, that's like a severe weather event, October 12th, 13th, 14th. Severe cold front type deal. Matt says, marking my calendar for these cold fronts, please. And let me know how this plays out. I don't take any responsibility because this is not a forecast. This is just looking at teleconnections. But I am curious how it does. So, Matt, you, Chris, y'all, let me know how this all plays out. Please. But you know what I'm not seeing? Is any trouble from the tropics. My mouth to God's ears, right? Interesting though, those fronts are really getting going. Really getting going. I mean, really getting going. I'm not going to complain at all, but like, ay, that's wild. All right. I'm not going to complain. Linda's asking anyone of my posts coming through. I see it. Opening windows. Can you imagine? Christina on YouTube says, I know. I know. Man, oh man, oh man. That's what I say about my birthday on the 24th. A little something. If only I could turn it around and say, hey, imagine watching football in cooler weather. Oh, please. Please. Fire up the chili recipe, right? I'm ready to make some chili. Man. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, my friends? Anything? Anything at all? Looking good? Where is the busy hurricane season? Nothing has happened in the recycle, Mike's saying. The systems were there, they just weren't tropical in nature. Number one. Number two, I would add, fine. It's a forecast and I put it out 6, 7 months ahead of time. So each part of the pattern was there. They just didn't develop tropical stuff. It's a long range forecast. You do the best you can. I will also add, today's the peak. We're just getting to the peak of season. So there's still a lot of time. Let's hope it doesn't go crazy, but yeah. Charles says, why are we asking for a busy hurricane season? I'll take the calm. Exactly. Me too. Matt says, thank you for the BSR. Gives us hope for cool weather ahead. As long as you and Chris Pierce Let me know how it does because I'm curious, Yeah. All right. All right. That's all I got. Tell me where the good chili cook-offs are in Central Florida and I will go, right? Yeah. All right, people. That's all I've got. All right. Sound good? Listen, Janice, calm, please. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you all for hanging out for Coffee Talk. I'll see you today on WESH 2 News at noon and 4 o'clock. Sound good? Sound good? All right. Bye.